Brant, week one of college football is finally here. I know you got the week zero fix out of the way. Let's start there. Did it live up to everything you were hoping it was going to be?
It did
You're a
not,
big week
Dave.
zero guy.
It did not. I felt like Kansas State, Iowa State was a really sloppy game. The field in Ireland did not live up to what I guess I thought it should be. When the rain was coming down, it was like you couldn't see the lines on the field. It was a bad presentation overall. It was sloppy football. One of the best players in college football, Dylan Edwards, goes out, play one, on the punt, and it was like, all right, what do we got going out throughout the day? UNLV, Alex Orji, they stink. Kansas was fun to watch. If you caught any of the Kansas game, that was a good football team playing what I guess people thought might be a good Fresno State team. And then the nightcap, Stanford stinks. They're terrible. Go Rainbow Warriors.
Dude, I tell you what, it was as big of a disaster as I thought it would be. So now that we have that out of the way and we move to week one of the college football season, we're going to get into a couple of the biggest games here of the weekend to kick things off, and we'll lead us right into Michigan, New Mexico as we talk some betting lines, and then I want to get your thoughts on this game and what you're hoping to see. So let's start with the big noon kickoff here, which is most definitely the game of the week in Columbus, Texas, Ohio State. Brant, go ahead. I'm gonna let you deliver these lines, and then let's talk about them.
All right, Dave. So Ohio State, obviously at the shoe this weekend. Big noon kickoff, college game day. Everybody's going to be there. Ohio State.
Not Dave Portnoy. Sorry.
That was actually a great step in. Thank you, Dave. Portnoy's been banned from the stadium. We know he's not allowed in the shoe. I joked before we got on here that they have just outlawed him from the state of Ohio, so he can't even get into the state. But yeah, Ohio State giving away, or they need to cover 1.5. Dave, I honestly, I think Texas comes out and wins this game outright for two reasons. One, I think Julian Sand might have more struggles than Arch Manning would. Arch Manning has plenty of reps under his belt, plenty of playing time under his belt. Julian Sand stepping into this role, a lot of pressure on him. And then, like I said, this is twofold. I also believe that Steve Sarkisian needs this game more than Ryan Day needs this game, and that's as simple as I can put it. I have a feeling Texas is going to come in there. They have revenge on their mind from the playoff game. This is a huge moment for Texas and a huge moment for Arch Manning, and I think they get it done.
Well, Arch Manning is coming out and definitely not talking smack, but just saying like, look, we don't have a target on our back. We've got a red dot on everybody else. Like, and you know what you want to hear out of your quarterback is some swag and some confidence, especially when you got to go into the shoe and backs up against the wall. And I know it's week one, and this isn't going to define either of these teams' seasons. They're both of them are very, very good teams. But I'm with you, Brant, and it's not just because I'm an Ohio State hater. I have Texas winning this game too. It's because exactly what you just named. I think at the end of the day in a game like this, look, you can certainly argue that Ohio State has the two best players in college football right now, both preseason-wise with Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith. However, Texas also has all of the pieces right now. They also have a good defense, and Arch Manning, who is a junior, who's seen a lot of reps. Playing behind Quinn Ewers, they worked him in at times, needed him at times, and I just think in games like this, it will come down to coaching, which is going to be interesting. To your point, and I agree. I think Sark does need it more than Ryan Day. Ryan Day needs to beat Michigan. That's all that boils down to. I mean, that is his goal this year. But I think, at the end of the day, I think Texas is going to get this done on the heels of Arch Manning. And I'm not seeing a shootout. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, maybe 20-17, something like that. But I think Texas gets it done.
Yeah, David, I don't think you and I are just being Ohio State haters here. I mean, there's a chance that they run the table going all the way into the Michigan game from that point forward. So, all right, let's lock in here with LSU and Clemson. LSU traveling to South Carolina to take on Clemson in this one. Clemson favored by 4. I think there's a couple interesting dynamics here. I think a lot of people feel like Clemson is a national championship contender this year, without a doubt. Cade Klubnik, the way they showed last year, they did lose to Texas in the playoff, but they showed out, man. Like, they came to play ball, and you know that Dabo's going to have that defense ready.
They return a lot of starters, too.
They have a ton of starters back, and LSU comes in this game, returning a quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier. They're on the up and up. I think that one of the interesting things in this game, Dave, if you look around the forecast around this weekend, man, we're going to be living in the 70s. I even looked around the nation. It's like high of 80s in some places. Like usually these games kick off at 100 degrees. Not the case this year. I think that plays into LSU's favor. I think they're able to cover this number. I like Clemson to win the game, but I like it less than 4.
I am right there with you. I'm not so sure that Clemson wins the game. I think it's going to be close, though. I do have LSU +4. I think that they have a very good football team, too. Brian Kelly most definitely needs a win like this. And, Clemson too, right? After, yes, losing to Texas in the playoff and coming here at home. They've had all fall camp to prepare for this game in front of their home crowd. And I think Dabo Sweeney's here to try and show and prove like Clemson, this program that he built and during the Deshaun Watson, the Trevor Lawrence era and all of that, and then they just fell off a cliff. He's like, nah, we haven't. I shouldn't say fell off a cliff, but not to the standard that they were at. And so I think he's looking to reestablish that. But I've got LSU +4.
Dave, last time LSU won an opening game,
I couldn't tell you.
2019.
Wow.
Yeah,
And I feel like they always have some marquee game like this in their defense, like to kick
they
things
often
off.
do. That's a
Yeah.
great point. They often do. But going 0-1 to start the last 6 years is like, dude, like let's try to get a dub on the board. So the lock of the week continues this year. I've got Baylor at home against Auburn, Dave, plus the 3.5. I know that these are two of the off the kind of radar teams, but anybody in the Big 12 can win that, Dave. You know that. Could be Baylor this year, could pop up and get a big win. I just think that after seeing what Auburn's kind of gone through with Hugh Freeze, I don't think that experiment is exactly working. Last year they had the Peyton Thorne, Robbie Ashford thing. It was a complete disaster. I don't think they've improved that much. I looked for Baylor to pop back in there and get an outright dub with the plus 3.5 at home. So, Dave, one more thing. Let's go over the New Mexico Michigan line. Michigan has got to cover 34.5, Dave.
Well, like I was telling you before the show here, which by the way, if you haven't done so already, you're a Michigan football fan, you're into the Lions, hit that subscribe button for us. Hop in the comments down below. Let us know what you think about these games and specifically this Michigan New Mexico game that we're about to get into. I know a lot of people aren't talking about the spread, but that's what we're going to start here with first. Which Brent, you said it's at 34.5. I'm like, we averaged like 22 points a game last year. And so covering 34.5 sounds like a lot. And until I want to believe, Brant, that it's going to happen, that Michigan's going to come out and drop 40 on New Mexico under Bryce Underwood led offense, true freshman under the lights. I want to believe it, and I will believe it. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm all about. I gotta see some proof first. I've heard a lot about it. The buzz around Bryce Underwood, this offense all week after Sharon's presser on Monday. I think it's just the buzz is high. I can't remember this much excitement about an opening game of the season, especially a team like New Mexico. But here we are, and this is the Bryce Underwood era about to kick off. So I'm going to take New Mexico plus 34.5, just on erring on the side of caution. Brant, what about you? And then we'll get into some of these details of this game and what we're thinking we might see and want to see.
Dave, I'm going to grab the 34.5 with New Mexico as well. I think it's too many points. I obviously expect Michigan to win this football game, as does 99% of the public. However, I just think that it could get later in the game. They maybe don't try to pour it on as much as they maybe should. Maybe something fluky happens where New Mexico gets a late score. In games with like this, with so many points on the line, it's usually better to err on the side of caution.
Yeah, fair enough. I would tend to agree with you. So I want to get into just exactly what you are wanting to see. Like, what is on Sunday morning? Okay, we got a night game Saturday night. Sunday morning, what defines a successful opening game for Bryce Underwood, A, and just this Michigan team, B?
So defining success is being able to move the ball. Like I think you have to be able to sustain drives. You have to be able to um, continue to put points on the board, even if those are field goals. Like it feels like with Zavada, if you can get to the 40, you probably have points. But I can't see drop passes and three and outs and Dave pre-snap penalties. Another huge one. Like, is this team in sync? Is the offensive line grooving? Are they in a groove together? That's the things that I'm going to be looking for. I'm not expecting a ton from the defense, Dave. Like, I mean, not expecting a ton of bad from the defense. Like, I feel like I know what I'm going to get. What was your part B to that? Did I miss that?
No, my part B was just the Michigan team then as a whole. Like what defines success Saturday night? It was Bryce Underwood and then the team as a whole.
Oh yeah, so let me cover the Bryce Underwood piece. Yeah, I think for Bryce, it's got to be, is the game plan simplified enough for what he needs it to be, um, and by that I mean, are they running the ball like 50% of the time, 60% of the time, and Bryce is on dropbacks? Are they running play action? Are they running bootleg? Are they doing things that gets him comfortable instead of just five drops? It's five-step drops, seven-step drops, stuff like that. Like I am going to be looking for him to be on the move to get him comfortable, and I'm looking for a completion percentage somewhere in the 60% to 65% range.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I think what I want to see from this Michigan team just as a whole is I want them to dominate this game, and I know that's kind of a weak response, but I'll tell you what I mean. Last year when it was Fresno State, and coming off the national championship game, they just didn't look good. It's like they and we saw what that looked like as the weeks kind of went on. Like, oh no, this isn't just a national championship hangover. Like we're actually not good. Like we can't move the football. But Brant, you could see it even in week one. It just didn't look good. And it's like, okay, well, Sharon Moore, first time head coach, he's got new coordinators, but I mean, we still have Colson Loveland and Will Johnson and all of these. Donovan Edwards is about to have the year of his life. And so the belief around here was, yeah, we lost J.J. McCarthy and some pieces, and Mikey Sain were still some big pieces of this team. They may not win a national championship, but this is going to be a really good football team. And it came out week one. You're like, ooh, that was what you prepared all fall camp for. And that's exactly what I don't want to see this weekend. It's like, I'm not expecting them to be totally mistake free. And I'll get to the true freshman at quarterback in just a second. I want to see this defense absolutely dominate, and I want to see this offense do exactly what you said, sustain drives. I don't, if they don't cover 34.5 points, whatever, but they've got to sustain drives because last year it was like the defense they couldn't get off the field. It's like they got off the field, the offense go 3-and-out. They don't move the ball at all. Special teams, our punting was not good. It was just, they're always in just a bad position. So this offense has to sustain drives, which will be running the football as Michigan does best, which is going to lead to some good offensive line play if that happens, which I also want to see. I'd like to see this offensive line look a lot better than it did to start last year. I know the O-line in particular takes time to get going, but I really want to see Michigan dominate. And as far as Bryce Underwood, I want him to just be himself and not try to do too much, though, because you can play hero ball a bit in high school football, especially in Michigan. And so when you're the greatest athlete on the field, the biggest guy, the strongest guy, the fastest guy, you kind of do what you want. And I think you're going to see a lot of these elements in the Bryce Underwood era at Michigan, and I can't wait for it. But he's got to grow into that. I think if he can just stay settled in, run a simple offense, find success in Chip Lindsey's offense, complete some easy passes, take some shots downfield, like that kid can spin the football, man. When he throws this thing, he may connect on a couple big ones and have everybody just kind of wowing, which is great. Take those shots. I also don't care if he throws a couple interceptions. Like, I think this is the time to do it. Like, let's see what he has. I think
I think that depends on what it looks like, right?
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
okay. Yeah, like I'm okay with a couple picks, but it can't be like, wow, Joe Milton, first pass of his career, interception type deal against
Right.
Wisconsin.
Right. Like, don't just show me that you can throw the ball far, throw it to our team. Yeah. Yeah. But no, I agree. But I think that let him take some shots and do what he does best. Let him get comfortable in this offense. I think a successful game for Bryce Underwood is probably around 200 yards passing, a couple touchdowns, and maybe a turnover. If that is the debut, I know some people are going to be like, let down if that's the case. And I do expect maybe a little bit more than that, what I just said. But I'm telling you, if that's it, I'm from what we had last year, my
Right.
gosh, I'll take it all day.
Dave, let me get one defensive non-starter and one offensive non-starter that you are just pumped to see.
On defense, am going to go with the guy that we keep hearing about all the time, which is Cole Sullivan from the linebacker room. The kid is everything. I mean, you heard it last year's true freshman year. It's like the coaches can't stop gushing about this kid, his athletic ability, how tough he is. I think Cole Sullivan is going to see the field. And I've got one more to add to that too, Brant. Cam Brandt is another name that you keep hearing on that D line. Is like, he's almost the forgotten guy behind Rayshon Benny and Trey Pierce and them. But I think Cam Brandt, he's going to play a role too. He's going to be really good on offense. I think that in some capacity, we are going to see true freshman Andrew Marsh. And I think Andrew Marsh is, I'm impressed that they're going to give him the punt returner duties. That's what Sharon said on Monday. That's awesome. You're trusting a true freshman there. And everything I heard about Andrew Marsh dating back to high school and in the recruitment process, because mind you, he committed before, he was the one receiver we had before Bryce Underwood. After the disaster of a season we were having, he was committed. He wanted to come to Michigan. He is very fast and he is a great athlete. I think that he could be what they're hoping Samaj Morgan is this year. I think he's going to be able to find a role in this offense and contribute right away this year. What about you? What are
Dave,
your thoughts on that?
I loved all your picks. I loved your picks, but listen, I love when you give me the picks and they're actually not my picks, and I don't have to switch over or do anything different. So on defense, I'm going Mason Curtis, man. Like I feel like he's definitely going to get some reps in safety, maybe that starter position or viper position or whatever they call it now. Um, and they're kind of talking to Wink about like, hey, is he in that Kyle Hamilton mold? And if there's any truth to that, I mean, he's a big dude, right? 6'4", 6'5", 220-ish. Like he's just a dude that is very long. He gets the pick last year against Northwestern. Like I just feel like he's going to be coming into the fold this year, and he's got great senior leadership that he can kind of guide him in a Rod Moore type and Barham and Houseman in the linebacker rooms. Like, they're going to be able to bring a guy like that and shepherd him right along. And then offensively, I'm looking at Hogan Hansen, man. Like, I think he's a freak athlete too, Dave. And if you run a two tight end set, maybe Marlon Klein's your best blocker in the room, but I feel like your go down the vertical threat type dude could be Hogan Hansen, Dave. So I'm looking at those two guys and saying, yeah, I need to see them on the field quite a bit, even as non-starters.
What's crazy is they're talking about Mason Curtis, 6'5", projected linebacker originally. Then it was safety. Then it was they could play this kid at slot and or as a nickel. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
why not?
what?
Bring it on.
I mean, you got to be a crazy athlete at that size. And I know what Wink Martindale loves to do with this defense too, and find these guys that are very versatile and move them around in different places. And so, for a guy like Mason Curtis, I love that pick because he's going to find a role on this defense for sure. And yeah, Hogan Hansen too. Great pick. I know he's had an injury he's been working through, but the coaches have been asked a couple of times. Steve Kasula, in particular, the tight ends coach, of who in the current room reminds him most of Colson Loveland, because I mean Marlon Klein is your tight end one. He's been named captain, but he said Hogan Hansen what was the guy. Just his athletic ability, like Brant said, his ability to catch the football and make plays. It's him. So I love that pick, man. Oh, we finally are
We
here.
made it, dude.
We
We made it.
finally are here. And Michigan fans, I want to know, or college football fans in general, hop in these comments, hit that subscribe button. Football is officially back. Week 1 is starting. Let us know what you guys think of our picks early on in the segment, and let us know your predictions and what will count as success here in the Michigan football game against New Mexico this Saturday night.